6 months without a grocery store. That is my challenge. This is our week 12 update. So we are almost at our 3 months mark, which means that we are almost halfway there, which is amazing. So if you have not seen this challenge all the way through and you are just hopping in right now, make sure you check out the playlist. I have all my previous updates in there, as well as the rules that I have set for myself. So I have been working really hard at trying to go through a lot of the older canned goods that I have to try and use them up, as well as some of the freezer goods that I have. One of my goals was to empty my freezer so I could clean it, but I'm putting a lot more stuff into my freezer these days as I'm freezing beans and vegetables and berries. So I'm not sure I'm going to hit the goal of cleaning my freezer unless I possibly get another one, which is a goal for me because I do want to preserve more. Especially as my fruit trees are growing, I'm going to want to preserve more in freezers. I also really want to look into getting a half a cow or a quarter cow in the future. And my stand-up freezer just doesn't hold all of that plus any produce that I have. So our freezer space is fairly limited. I'd end up having to can a lot of that cow, and I don't want to have to do that. I definitely just like pulling something out of the freezer. Having canned meat is amazing, and I love it, but I don't want all of my meat canned. So I think in the future we are going to look into getting a secondary freezer just to house more meat and more vegetables and fruit and things like that. As for the challenge, this week has not been a struggle for the challenge in any way. I'm finding through the summer, especially with how busy it is, I'm busy harvesting, I'm busy preserving, and we're just busy with life in summer. So my meals are so basic. I'm not going into extremes with meals. I'm not getting super creative with them. We are just having really basic meals. A lot of what we're having is very budget friendly, very cheap. It's eggs and toast, it's omelets, it's pancakes, sandwiches. We had some sandwiches this week as well. So I'm not going through a ton of things because everything is just so basic. As for produce, so I will do a whole garden tour. However, right now in the garden, I almost feel like we're at a bit of a lull. So just a bit of a soft spot here. We just finished harvesting a lot of our bush beans and we ate them all up. I didn't even freeze any of those. We just ate our bush beans. And our pole beans are now starting. So we're kind of in between the bush beans and pole beans for beans. As for cucumbers, I did harvest a bunch of slicing cucumbers, which they were so good, so delicious. You also saw me harvest a lot of pickling cucumbers, as well as I received some from a farmer's market. So I pickled a lot of those cucumbers as well. As for fruit, that peach pie that I did in my last video was the last of our peaches. So I am now out of peaches. I'm also out of fresh berries. So our fresh fruit is kind of minimal. My mother-in-law just brought some fruit yesterday. She had brought some fruit. We were doing a baseball tournament for my son, and so she brought some fresh fruit to eat there and then just left whatever she had left over. So we do have some of that left, but I'm waiting for my blackberries to ripen. Normally it's blackberry season by now. I am finding the garden so late, and it must have just been the spring that we had. So everything's just later. Normally I do beans in July, but it was beans in August. My tomatoes are normally ripe by now. They're not. I've had a couple of ripe ones. That's it. Blackberries are normally ripe. They're not. So we're just kind of waiting for everything to catch up here. We do have some potatoes in our garden we'll be able to harvest soon. However, I'm still working through the potatoes, that big bag of potatoes that I had at the beginning of this challenge. So I want to get through that before I harvest these potatoes. As for the bigger objects like meats and grains and noodles and things like that, we're doing pretty good. I'm not really enjoying baking in the summer because it's so hot. So our bread use kind of goes down a bit, and our snack use kind of goes down a bit because I'm just not baking as much. I'll do some snacks like popsicles and oatmeal balls, things that don't necessarily need baking, but I've definitely taken a bit of a slower route on really getting those other snacks in. So that's fine. I think in the summer months, we all prefer the freshness of fresh fruit and vegetables anyways. So that's it for that. I did buy a bag, I think it was last week or the week before, I mentioned it in a video, a bag of flour. So I'm still working through that. And noodles we're fine with. We've got tons of pasta left. I have tons of rice left. And as for meat, I am trying to cut down a bit. Meat's so easy just to throw on the grill or something. So I'm struggling with that in the summer. So you guys have sent me some really good recipes. I am going to try them, I swear. I need to write them down, and maybe we'll do an entire video just on trying your recipes. But I will try them, and thank you so much for sending them to me. I was saying that I want to do more plant-based and try that. So you guys were really, really kind, sent in a bunch of recipes. So I'm going to write them all down, and I swear I am going to try them. It's just been, life is nuts. Life is crazy. So I will definitely get to that. So right now I will show you what we had for dinner this week. As for like breakfasts and lunches, a lot of the time it's oatmeals or pancake. Sometimes eggs and toast for breakfast. That's literally our litany of breakfasts. So that's it for that. And lunch is almost always leftovers, or for my son and daughter, they might do a grilled cheese or something, but typically it's all leftovers from the previous dinner. Just in case you're wondering why I only ever show this is what we ate for dinner, because our breakfasts and our lunches are almost always the same, and lunches are always leftovers. So I will show you what we're doing for dinners, and then I'll give you a tour of the garden. I did not get everything videotaped, but we started off with a vegetable stir fry. Most of these vegetables were from my garden. We had taco soup again. It's so easy. Pancakes, and we also had omelet and toast and sandwiches and salad. Okay, so because we're in a lull in our beans and our vegetables, I am eating a lot of salads, producing a lot of salads now. So this is looking a little more ragged these days because I've just been cutting a lot at it. It's also been really hot, really dry. We haven't had rain here in weeks, and we finally got a good thunderstorm last night. So hopefully that will bring this garden a little more back to life. Our zucchini plants, doing great, but still just producing male flowers. So I've been pulling them like some people have suggested. The squash bugs are off of them now. I haven't seen any squash bugs lately, but yeah, we've just got some male flowers going on here and no zucchini. So I don't know what that's about, but here we are. Here's some of my pole beans, so you can see that they're pretty much ready to be picked. So maybe we'll get a meal of green beans here soon. So they're doing really good. I love this trellis. For anybody who missed me getting this trellis, this was put on the side of the road for free. So I was taking my kids somewhere. I stopped the truck, turned it around, threw it in the back of my truck, and quickly drove it home. It was falling apart a bit, but you can see my husband just fixed it up with some extra wood we have, and now it's in my garden, and it's like one of my favorite parts of the garden. And now we've got these pole beans all climbing up it, and it just makes me so happy. Pretty good for free. So yeah, lots of beans coming here. So, I mean, we'll have beans soon enough. It just feels like a bit of a lull at the moment. The tomatoes are coming slowly. This is a patch where I need to get in and prune it. But so far, we've gotten a few tomatoes, not a lot. There's a lot in there. They just need to ripen. But yeah, this this spot, we've tied it all up. I just need to get in here and prune it all down so that it doesn't get all moldy and rusty and things like that. So I do have to look after this a bit this week. That's one of my goals. September is typically when these guys ripen up. These are my Concord grapes. This is just one spot where I have them. I have them out front too, and there's tons. So we are going to have lots and lots and lots of grapes. So last time I brought you guys in here, these tomatoes were all over the ground, and I had said I wanted to do something with them. You guys gave me some great ideas. However, some of them might work, some of them might not for this space. One idea I really like, somebody mentioned rebar. So I may purchase some rebar and just trellis them to the rebar. For right now, I'm going to show you what I've done. So I trim them all down, right? I prune them all back so that we can see all these tomatoes. And then up here, this grapevine, although it's starting to fall down on me, it had made itself a trellis all the way over here and it tied itself up there, but now it's starting to kind of come down. So I tied all the tomatoes up there. Hopefully it stays for a little while, but that's what I did to kind of get these guys up off the ground for the time being. So maybe even in the future, I have one trellis here and then one behind me, which is where this grapevine is. Maybe I will put like a log or something between the two so that we can trellis. But I do crop rotation. So having a permanent thing in place for tomatoes might not work for us because I'd like to rotate where I put things each year. Another ripe one. Slowly coming around. This is my daughter's garden. She's got a bunch of pole beans here. So they're coming around. They aren't quite ready yet like the other ones. They are a different variety. I think these ones are called Homestead. I can't remember what the other ones are called. And then in here, the birds are getting at them. These are green grapes. These were full. These were full the other day. Oh my goodness. I think the wasps are getting in here too. I see one. I'm going to have to get at these because they're going to be gone soon. My goodness. Yeah, these were full grapes just the other day when I was in here. And they're green grapes, seedless grapes, and they're wonderful. But there we go. I think I found one I can harvest. Oh, these animals and insects are so quick that they get them before I can ever get to them. So here's the rest of that tomatoes where I was saying I had tomato chaos here. So we've got them all trellised up as best as we can for the time being, and I prune them all back. So now the air can get through and the sun can get through. So hopefully they ripen up soon for us. And then unfortunately I had squash borers get in here and killed my pumpkins. My other pumpkins are doing okay, but this one kicked the bucket. So is what it is. That's fine. But yeah, thankfully my son planted a couple of big pumpkins in here. They've crawled up my sea buckthorn. I think we've got one crawling up here with the tomatoes up into the pear tree. So, although, look at this. A squash beetle. I'm just gonna go and kill it. I don't remember what kind of pumpkin he grew in here, but I'm pretty sure it was a big orange pumpkin. And not too far away, we do have mini boos growing. So I'm pretty sure these guys cross-pollinated. So we've got an orange mini boo or something that's going on here. It'll be fun to see what it turns into. And then we've got the corn. We still haven't tried this yet. I'm trying to give it as long as possible to get those cobs bigger. I believe I said in the last video, you need about 40 to 80 corn to really pollinate well. We've got like, what, 5, 8 here. So they don't pollinate the best, but my son loves growing it and I don't want to kill that for him. So we'll keep growing corn as long as he enjoys it. And then here's our peppers. They're doing really, really well. We've harvested a lot. I've frozen a bunch and we'll be able to eat off these for a while. So they're all doing really well, which is awesome. And then our cucumber plants are still doing really well, still popping out those cucumbers. So that's great. We've got another pumpkin here. I've got some more out front. So we do have lots of pumpkins growing. I've been harvesting a ton of elderberries lately as well. So I'll make some syrup and I will make some elderberry pie and maybe jam if I have some left as well. We do have a lot of jam, so I'm kind of leery on making more, especially because I would love to make blackberry jam too. So we'll see what happens. I'll more than likely just focus on syrup. But that is the garden this week and what it is producing for us and how we're doing. I think we're doing pretty well. We're going to see, I know this last half of this challenge will be more of a challenge than what the first half has been. So we'll see how it goes. I still have canned meat and I still have some freezer meat. So we'll see how far we get through that before I start getting mutiny at home over not having any meat. Anyways, thank you guys so much for following. And again, if you've not seen the previous videos, I will have the playlist right here. Make sure you check that out. And if you are interested in any other frugal living tips, frugal homemaking, make sure you check out my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next time.